Turkish barbers.
Yeah, I'm not going to start.
Right, sorry.
Somebody push the magic button.
Still not done.
Yeah.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. We're going to start now. And before we start, we're going to have a minute's silence for Mr. Hayward, and I do believe the Mayor has got some things to say before we go into silence. Is that correct?
Yeah, thank you, Robin. So I've personally known Steve virtually since I moved to the area, because him and Glenn used to come in the pub to do all sorts of things to do with the float, the Santa float and Christmas parade planning and all sorts of things like that. And he was always a very, very affable gentleman. I believe we gave him Friend of Buckingham in 2010. He's been involved with the Christmas parade from the beginning, I believe, and also with Lembra Singers and Friends of the University and all sorts of other groups and interests. And he sadly passed away on the 30th of January, I believe, and his funeral is going to be this Friday at the parish church. So thank you.
Well, thank you for that. I will in silence and stand for Mr. Hayward. Thank you very, very much. It'll be sorely missed, I think. She missed his hat at Christmas. We still missed that Hayward with his Christmas hat on around the festive season. Well, thank you very much for that. We'll move into the agenda first. We were going to have someone in public session, but they're not here, so we'll just check if they're here before we move on to the agenda. No, so in which case they obviously changed it. I don't attend it. In which case we'll move swiftly into the agenda, as you probably seen it's quite a big agenda tonight. Apologies for absence, please. Thank you. Accept the apologies.
Yep.
Good. Declarations of interest. Everyone declares their interest in anything on the agenda. You find when you come to it, you can declare it then. You know, we'll move on to the next item, which is minutes. Are members happy to agree the minutes?
Yeah, agreed.
Thank you very much. And let's move swiftly into budgets. Nothing particularly significant in there, but have members got any questions or concerns there?
No.
We okay with budgets, is that okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. In which case we'll move on to item 5, which is the carers fair.
Careers
fair. That's I'll put the glasses on. Yes, you're quite right. It's careers fair. Thank you very much for that. Doesn't like being corrected. Anyway, Lisa.
I'd like to lead on this event because now we haven't been doing the community arts project in a couple of years, so I'm doing an event with young people, so it'd be nice to do this. And yeah, I think it's especially as young people have asked for it, I think we'd be wrong not to do something they've asked for specifically.
John.
It says, would this be a weekend thing or a weekday thing, and maybe the youngsters get out of school to be there, or have it after school? Is there anything that's envisaged? I'm just curious.
I think once we've agreed it, then we'll envisage when we do it,
Yeah,
you know, and I think that interesting points from interested people
Okay.
will help with that. Really, it's got to be done by a time where they're able to do it, isn't
yeah.
it? Not a time that suits us.
Oh, yeah, no,
But
the time that suits you. Youngsters.
I'm happy to agree recommendations, Chair.
Yeah, we agree that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agree.
Seconded.
Yeah, that's seconded by the mayor and proposed by Lisa. Thank you. Next item is the sponsorship pack, item 7. The recommendations and the report attached. Is there anything significant that officers want to say about that report before we go into it?
Just check that number 6 is updates from representatives on outside bodies.
Yes, well, I wasn't going to say anything
Okay.
because the time was pressing. I skipped over it, but because I thought that,
No, there's no point.
yeah, I don't think anyone needs to hear anything when you got to the big agenda. Fran?
I was just going to say, I don't know that there's anything that I've got on that which is relevant to this committee, so that's where we need to
Yeah,
keep it, really, isn't it?
yeah,
Not just
yeah. Okay, item
talk
7
about
then.
things for the sake of it.
We've got the report here, as I stated. Is there anything significant that this report officers want to bring to our attention? I take that as a no.
All the information's in there.
Fran?
I think it's a really good bit of work by our business community engagement officer. I think she should be commended on doing so, and I recommend that I basically recommend that we agree with the recommendation.
I'll second that, yeah.
Thank you. Seconded by Lisa, but John had his hand up to speak, so John.
Yeah, I mean, are we going to accept sponsorship from anybody? Are we going to have a policy on who we would be prepared to accept sponsorship from, and maybe a policy on who we might not be prepared to accept sponsorship from? So, I mean, a national organisation is going to be potentially here, I don't know, BT or someone, or is it only local organisations? Well, I'm not sure. Have we agreed that policy?
It's not at the public stage yet. So Anna has just drafted this initial thing. We've had a small meeting about it. We didn't really think about larger organisations, other than the fact that Buckingham approached us and said, can we sponsor you in some way for the pancake races? Which we said, yes, you can. But we didn't think about these larger sponsors, larger companies that might want. So Anna's idea is really to open it to everyone. So there's an opportunity for a very small business to sponsor something, one of our events, one prize, say for example, a dog show. Or it might be that there may be a local company that wants to sponsor more, or it may be that there's a national company that is interested, like Bon Mama, who's not sponsored, but have offered prizes and so on. So this is really in its infancy.
I take John's point. I'd just take Lucy and come back to you. That's right.
I agree that it's a good point to raise, that we should be aware that, you know, we need to be aware of who's sponsoring. I think it's unlikely that there's going to be anyone sort of nefarious sponsoring anything, and I do think that any sponsorship is good sponsorship. In terms of, you know, a pancake race, I doubt we're going to get sort of any extreme causes trying to sponsor anything, but maybe if we make sure, I don't know if it's worth putting something about like nothing political, no political sponsorship.
The policy would come back to committee.
Okay, cool.
So the aim is, this is initial ideas for you to look at, and then with the aim of it going a bit further and then looking at a policy, and then you agree in that.
Thank you.
I'll come back to John and go to Fran.
Sorry,
I'm just wondering if there needs to be, I mean, that's the agenda on the communications strategy committee, as this is about comms, it is about our relationship with local businesses. I think it ought to be discussed there, because there are complementary policies that we should be looking at. I do think I want to have some involvement in that discussion, and I think there might perhaps be a working group so that the council just have a quick look at this. Because I think it's important and I think it's a good idea, but I want to make sure that there's a clear policy on some of this stuff.
Now,
I think the town clerk will have the best gen on where it sits, rather than a particular working group or committee taking control or taking hold of it. And whether the whole thing, we have got a compliance officer who would be involved in writing any policies, and then come to whichever committee that the town clerk feels it's necessary to do so. I think that this, at the moment, it is a recommendation that we note the production of this sponsorship pack. It's not on the agenda to have further discussions about different things about it at this stage. As Paula rightly says, it's something which lost the word, the strategies, etc., the rules around it have yet to be looked at. This is a very, very early stage.
back to Zoe, and I'll just say something.
I was literally just going to mirror it, so 2.3 is literally saying, looking for approval, and then what will be eligible once drafted, so.
I'm very reluctant to see effect, as chair and whatever, I'm reluctant to cede it anywhere else, because I think the committee here are the community events and we have policies, and if we abide by the clerk policies that have come out of the committee, it'd be no different than come out of the communication structure. Again, this is a standing committee, so if it needs to make a recommendation, it will do. But I think it will come back here, and then what the report says, that'll be the best way. Anyway, thank you for that, and thank you for the update, and thank you for raising the obvious.
Can we go to vote?
Yes, all those in favour? Everybody. Right, in which case we'll move on to fringe theme, which is we've got lots of things in there. I'd be interested in members' views about the themes. I have my own favourite, but Lisa.
Actually, no, I love magic. I love myths, legends, and folklore. So, but I think there's a lot of things on here that are just excellent. David Attenborough's 100th birthday year. I mean, yeah, for me it'd be hard to pick, but it'd be interesting to see what the conversation holds.
Yeah, there's some great themes here, but I think if it's not going to be something around the local businesses and artists, then my personal favourite would, despite being a football fan, my personal favourite would be something to do with David Attenborough's 100th birthday, because I think he is a real national treasure. So.
Yeah, and I mean, as you know, I love myths and legends and folklore. However, it's David Attenborough's 100th birthday. I think that sort of top trumps. We can do myths and legends and folklore and everything else another time. I think the man deserves a little nod.
I take it. Anyone else got any other offers at all about themes here? Is there, personally, I grew up watching David Attenborough, and I enjoyed every moment of it. And I live myths, folks, and legends every day. So I'm happy for a proposer in a second to come on this.
Well, who said David Attenborough first?
Me.
Yeah.
And then
So I'm recommend.
So Lisa, seconded by Rabina. All those in favour of David Attenborough, that sounds great. I'm really pleased with that.
Yeah.
There's so much we can do with that theme, and we'll all be able to work together on it to make sure we make something spectacular. Because one of the few people we can say in this world is a generally good egg.
Yeah.
Right. In which case, we move on to the lofty business of the recommendation around hanging baskets. I say lofty because they hang up. The recommendation is before us. Have members got any questions or concerns around that? John?
Those we agree, as it's the only one that's come from us.
That's seconded by the mayor, all those in favour?
Seconded, yep.
Right, thank you, that was really well discussed and, Fran seconded it, and
Yeah.
John proposed it.
Can I,
Yeah.
can I also just note that an increase of £1.60 per basket in the current climate isn't horrendous, and they are beautiful every year, and they do get complimented every year.
They are, and they are contributions to the town, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring back a report further on it, I'm sure.
Can I just check, the other question you had is whether you wanted to go for a 3-year contract or stay for an annual contract. They have said for a 3-year contract, there would be a likely increase in line with inflation, no more than that. £1.60 is an indication of what their line of inflation was last year. You don't have to go for it, you can stay as an annual contract.
I propose we go for a 3-year
Is
contract.
that seconded? Seconded by Lucy, all those in favour? Right, thank you for that.
Next one.
So that tidied that up. We'll move swiftly on now to first aid. There's a report here on first aid and how it's involved. Do you want to take us through that? Because I think it's important that you walk through it.
Yeah, okay, so I applied for 3 different quotes from 3 different companies. One's local, one's a national company, and the third company I approached failed to quote. They failed to provide any quote. They were specialising in the South East region. The difference in price was quite dramatic. And it was to provide exactly the same cover. I literally sent a list of what we had, i.e. 1 ambulance, 3 paramedics, whatever, for each event, what we'd had last year.
Yeah.
Sent it to all 3 companies and said, can you quote me for this? And they're the numbers that came back to you.
I propose that we go with the recommendation of company A. It's local, it's the most significantly.
That's proposed to be seconded by being the same. Well, is it anyone different to that? No, all those in favour? Thank you very much for the report.
Yeah, thank you.
Now we'll move on to the bonfire, which is again coming under the town clerk to take us through the rationale behind the report, which I think is well written.
Thank you. So because it's such a big event and one that we put a lot of money into, I tried to get as many quotations as possible. I realise there's a lot of information there. They do for there's not a huge differential in the prices. They're all sort of late 3s onwards. My recommendation is company A. They have supported, they understand our event. The other companies, they can all do much for muchness. There isn't much in it. The biggest difference is the company E based in Hertfordshire, who offered 13 minutes rather than 12, but the others are either a choice of 10 or 12 minutes. I'm not really sure there's very much more I can say without sort of exposing who which company is.
Yeah.
But my recommendation is there.
The first person who hand up was Lucy.
I propose we go with the recommendation, go with company A.
That's seconded by the mayor. I'm very pleased we've done that because we have a really good working relationship. Lucy.
There's 1.2, which is recommendation that we agreed to a 3-year contract. Are we
need to vote.
doing, that's what I was asking, if we're doing a vote together or just the first one.
All those in favour of company A? Right, second point, do we wish to go for a 3-year contract?
Yeah.
Is that proposed and seconded? Proposed by Lisa, seconded by Ravina. All those in favour? Thank you.
My hope is by trying to get the 3-year contracts is that when we apply for quotes in the future, because we often apply for them year on year, some companies just don't bother to quote if they didn't get it the year before. So my hope is if we make some of these ones more 3-year contracts, A, it's less time intensive, we've got the money secured as well, but also we might then get a bigger range at the end of it.
The minute our thanks to the town clerk for a thorough report.
Absolutely.
Please.
Thank you.
I think it was very well written.
Yeah.
And there was nothing left to doubt, was there? Okay, in which case we'll move on to item 12, which is the colouring trail sheet invitation, which is Who's doing that?
Uh,
Okay, it was I was going to do that.
So this is an initiative put forward by our business community engagement officer. My understanding is that the colouring trail that was done at a previous event was very, very well received, and she's looking at rolling that out again. So the recommendation is that you approve the delivery of a colouring trail across independent businesses in Buckingham, and that to also approve the use of age-based categories. So a little bit like our Christmas card competition, where there's different age groups, and then a Mayor's Choice award to recognise the creative merit across all entries. There's a small budget, which the budget lights down the bottom. And the more interesting bit for me is that she's going to have bespoke colouring sheets. I believe she's attached an example. Yes.
Yeah.
So she's attached an example at the bottom, and Buckingham Art for All is contributing to that, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's the same remit as before. Each participating business will host a different colouring sheet. Members of the public will be encouraged to visit multiple businesses to collect all the designs to then enable them to create their own Buckingham themed colouring book in its entirety. I'm not sure if there's anything more anyone needs me to say on that. I haven't go on if you wish me to.
No. I just from the chair, I didn't notice how well it was done, and it's one of these events with young people and families can join in with no cost, so it's great.
Yeah.
I see Lucy. I think you were just before John. Lucy.
Just a quick question about, do you want us to decide on what weight paper you want to have it printed in yet, or can that be done later on?
If you wanted, I mean, it's not a recommendation, but if you wanted to make it, she's just given an idea of the cost.
Yeah.
And my suggestion would be if you try and keep cost to a minimum.
Yeah, I was going to say 140 would be more than good quality enough.
I think people are going to have to carry it around as well.
That's
No, that's
70
about
or 80.
70 or 80. 140 is quite sturdy.
So it's like divided.
That's
That's 140, is it?
maybe.
Maybe thicker than it.
John.
I don't know, it's another idea and it would add cost, but I'm wondering whether we could do postcard versions as well. And the reason for a postcard version is that then whoever does it, on the back, they can write a quick message and send it off to their grandparents in some far-flung place as well, just as another idea. So people can do an A4 version, or they can have a postcard version, and they can choose which version they want.
So there's going to be winners of this category. So maybe the prize could be like they get a set of postcards of their print and their colouring in there.
Yeah.
I just think so. We haven't budgeted for any of that.
Okay.
And there would be additional costs unless we could get a company to sponsor. And I'm not suggesting we can.
Yeah.
So we can try and stick to the recommendations.
Okay.
Because we haven't got anything. Because what else?
He does for being creatively minded.
I'm creative minded. I'm looking to move this forward, but please can we note that members were keen on the postcard option, so that if there's any options to do that, let come back. Madam
I think it's a brilliant idea, the postcard thing. And I wonder whether it's something that we could look at in the future to be selling in the tick. Rather than like just printing them and giving them away.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously a cost involved in it.
If it could be like the Christmas card competition,
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
So the winners
Yeah.
will have like
Make
we'll
it
print
postcards.
50 postcards to sell.
Yeah.
Maybe if we use this as a pilot scheme, and then
Yeah.
as well, we can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Great.
listening to that, shall we vote on it, and then we'll vote on agreeing that we'd like to have some information come back along this piloting scheme at a future meeting, so we can have a report on how it could be done and how it can be funded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those in favour of the recommendation? All in favour? Those, well, I think, who's going to second it?
I'll second it.
Right, you're seconding it, who's going to oppose it? Rabina's opposing it. But that's great, that's great. We can swap. It's great that the corporation, and then those, can we just,
It's
those in favour?
both recommendations.
Both recommendations, and then this is from the floor to ask officers come back with
We need to
a,
vote on that first.
yeah, we've done on that, then, right, done. Right, that's done, right,
It's not done properly, Robin, you know what will happen.
yeah. I've been like that all my life. I never thought about it. Right, what I would say is that can we have a proposal that we ask for a future report to come back looking at the proposal around the cards?
I don't think we necessarily need to have that as a separate thing. I think it's something that can be. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So in which case, I think it's covered.
Yeah.
I think there are good points made.
Make sure it's minuted, so we remember.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Want it minuted,
Yeah.
so that we can
Yeah.
refer back because time knocks on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now I'm very excited about item 13.
Yeah.
Really?
I am really excited about item 13. Really excited about it. Paula, please lead us on.
So we had some market entertainment budget left, and I know that this committee has put forward to full council in the past that they wanted to increase the free events for families.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm quite passionate about. So and just coincidentally at the same time somebody emailed me with dinosaur puppets. So having looked at it, it's really good. So they bring along 2 dinosaur puppets with 2 members of staff so people can meet and greet. They bring along a fossil activity that children can make, and then they get to keep that in a little box. Dinosaur masks. We'll also provide some dinosaur colouring. So the old jail have provided this yard for us for our use for free of charge, which is marvellous. And so hopefully the weather will be good and we can have a few gazebos out the front of the old jail and the exercise yard. If it's wet, then we'll have to limit numbers, but at least the event can go ahead inside the exercise yard, with just a little bit of supervision for numbers. So that's the plan.
Fran, then Rabina, and then John, and then Lucy, right?
I'll let Rabina go first.
Yeah.
Being creatively minded, I was just thinking, has anyone got any of those blow up dinosaur costumes? Because if they have, we could always have the chair of the committee greeting our community.
I'll buy one. What a sale.
And I'll gladly inflate it.
I was going to make a false hair comment, but I won't.
I'll second that.
Yeah, it is helium, so that you can have it on a string floating over the old jacket. Madam Mayor.
Just call me Fran. Thank you.
All right, Fran.
Yeah. I propose that we absolutely wholeheartedly go with a recommendation on this.
Lucy.
I was going to say, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I was only going to say, I mean, given that we're looking at fossils, I mean, it might be interesting to approach Buckingham tailors because they have an ammonite on their outside wall. Buckingham tailors on Council Street.
Yeah.
They have an ammonite embedded in the wall.
Oh, they do.
Below their.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it would be nice for children to be pointed at, to have that pointed out to them. They may also be interested in perhaps sponsoring it in some way, I don't know. But I think certainly pointing out that it's the oldest thing in the town, the ammonite.
Yeah.
There's nothing as old as that in the town.
Not even Robin.
Not even dinosaurs. Like, anyway, but yeah, I just think there's a link there that'd be nice to make. A local link.
Yeah, good idea. Right.
Just a point of order, this is a public meeting, it is a serious meeting, although it is, we are discussing fun things, we do need to be seen to be taking it seriously.
We are. I'm very serious about getting on with one of these dinosaurs. I would say, well, firstly, Paula, thank you for the work you've done on this. You can tell by the level of enthusiasm here that we are for it. I think we'll vote on this and I ask that we agree a press release on this, and I think it's a joyous thing to be doing, and just check that we can use the photographs for the press release. So we had a proposal which was who proposed
I proposed it.
Fran, and seconded by Lucy. All those in favour? That's agreed. And then to move on to, we agreed to do a press release on this. Is that I proposed?
Yeah, agree.
Seconded by John. All those in favour? this is just quite appealing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, in which case we'll move to this icon, and then we'll move to forthcoming events, which is starting with you.
So it's the Pancake Race. It's just to note the report really. The Pancake Race is on Thursday, the 19th of February at the church as usual. It's on Thursday, so it doesn't clash with the weekly Tuesday event. As it's already been mentioned, we've been approached by my man who've generously agreed to support this event, and they're supplying all sorts of things: jam spreads, goodie boxes for the winners, some bandanas, children's aprons, at no cost to us at all. In return, we feature them in some of our social media coverage. There'll be a warm-up session from a local yoga studio who've currently agreed to join us as well. The usual 6 race categories as before. All the information that's gone out has reminded people they need to take their own frying pans, and obviously we'll provide the, I say pancakes, but we use tortillas moving forward. And then the budget's there. It's a relatively cheap event, but it was very good turnout. And it's for the members to make the report, really.
Thank you. I've got an issue with the walking race part of it, having been there several years, trying to judge the walking race and trying to stop people from actually running or trotting or it's a bit of a nightmare really. And there's so many of them that you cannot keep an eye on everybody. I think it's a hiding to nothing.
I think
it's like really stressful.
I think the only reason the walking race was there, because I dug into this a bit last year, was so we could give everybody of all ages an opportunity. But obviously there aren't always as many people of a particular maturity that want to do a walking race. But it's your call.
Okay, so are we happy to agree with the recommendations, or have we got concern about the walk race? Listen.
If that was the purpose of the walking race, could we rename it senior?
Yeah.
And put an age.
And put an age,
60s.
like over
Yeah.
60s.
Yeah.
Maybe people who need to do a walking race that are not over 60, and maybe younger people with disabilities that a walking race would suit better than.
It's meant to be a.
The thing that's happened with it is it's everybody that takes part in it that's been in everything else, and there's lots and lots of little children, and they cannot walk because they just want to get to the finish line, and they get so excited about it, and they are not walking. So whether there's something else we can do instead, whether we leave it for this year and have a look at something else for next year, I don't know. But I've got an issue with it.
Is there like a speed limit to walking?
We could have 1 foot on the floor all the time.
Can I?
But you can't.
You can still do that while you're jogging, though.
Is it worth having a lower age, like, I don't know, like
40 plus.
well, no, like, I don't know, 15 and above? I don't know.
Can I suggest that we leave it for this year, and the point's been made that we need to look at it, review it on the event, and then come back with a report which may support Fran's view on it, or maybe people will be better behaved and whatever. So are we happy with that? Because I don't think we should sort of try and plan the event at this late stage, really, and change it. So that's what I'd suggest would be best, but then if anybody disagrees with that, please say you do so.
Could we have like a couple of helpers who disqualify non-walkers?
Well, that's what we tried to do.
Well, let's try and
But
do it.
there just wasn't enough councillors or people, staff members there to actually keep an eye on, like, possibly 30 small children.
John?
Could we make it an egg and spoon race instead, given that eggs are a key ingredient in pancakes? And that would mean people couldn't run, because you can't run in an egg and spoon race very easily because you're not too ready.
I think we're going further complicating. We've got promotion stuff gone out about it now. We've websited it. It's out there in public. So my suggestion is that we carry on as we do this year, and we take on board the concerns and review it at
And we could take some responsibility when people sign in and really clear that if you're entering walking race, it's a walking race for a reason. And if you don't walk, you will be disqualified. So we take an element of responsibility when people sign in for races.
Yeah. So can I ask for the proposal second for the recommendation? Well, so I propose that then, Ravina seconded it, and we agree the recommendation. Thank you. Which case we move on.
That's everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's everybody. Yeah. I thought everybody put their own bit. Right, in which case we'll move on to the food fair, which is planned for the events officer. Was through the report.
So this first thing, there's a typo on 2.1, it should be the 28th of February, not the 8th of February. And those who are coming to the food fair. So the food fair is full. We've got 23 stall holders, a really lovely mix of stall holders, and we've got 4 hot food traders outside. That'd be really good. And we do need, however, some volunteers to help to do some clicking in at the door, and also to help Fran with her stall, her Mayor's charity stall. And we've also got a Buckingham Town Council table with both for with the foodie mats and both for your favourite dish. So it would be really helpful, even if people can just do an hour, or if they can do 2 hours, that's marvellous.
So today's the 20th.
Yeah.
Yes. Firstly, thank you for the report. Should we do it in reverse order? Anyone here likely to be able to volunteer?
I think so.
Yeah. So we agree. I know
Yeah,
people are willing to
yeah.
volunteer. Can we email the events club after the meeting? Note that I'll be around because I can eat food. Fran?
Can we make sure that Hertford Council is included in this call for volunteers, please?
Yeah. Council, in which case let's then go backwards and move to the recommendation. Those in the proposal and seconder, proposed by Fran, seconded by Lucy this time. All those in favour? Thank you. I look forward to it, and please volunteer, because it makes it so much easier for the team, you know, comfort breaks and things through the day. If you just can give 2 hours, it's fantastic help. Right, Easter event. This is to receive a report on the Blaze Hill event. So are you leaving on that, Paula? Or
so this is the Easter Spring Fair up at Lace Hill. It's following a very similar format to previous years. A lot of the tables are already booked. The idea is to provide a fun day with different ranges of stores from charities, businesses and various clubs. And some of those hirers will also be those stall holders, so they can start selling more wares as well. We will supervise the entry booking and manage that side of it. And there's also going to be a bouncy castle which is being provided and staffed by Milton Keynes Player Association. It's just to note the report, really.
Noted.
Thank you. Thank you. Which case we'll move on to the green and grass event, which is
So this is the Spring Green Fair in another guise. So it was voted on last year to change it to green crafts. So what we anticipate is a whole load of crafts along where the cattle pens are, as many as we can using recycled, reuse, jam jars, bottles. We'll do some sleeve bombs. Catherine is going to do a learn to crochet or a bobbin type store, which she's very excited about, which is lovely. So that is the aim. The costs will be reduced. We won't need a road closure, and we just want to extend it to families. So we get a lot of people, not just children. We get a lot of adults as well come to the craft session.
Thank you, Lisa.
I'm happy to proposed recommendation, on its note, I'm happy to note, but I've got a box of jam jars at home. And I was thinking, what am I going to be doing with all these jam jars? So, yeah, let's give them to you. Yeah, you're welcome.
True, you proposed it, seconded it.
It's noting, so yeah.
Noted,
Yeah.
okay, we'll do that.
Yeah, those are.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
In which case we'll move on to skate park event, which is under, it's under Deputy Town Clerk.
So-
It's not on a skate.
So it's looking at agreeing which company we use to host. I got quotes from two companies, one in Winchester, one in Hertfordshire. I purely chose company because it was the most cost effective one. They offer a very similar service. They both do demonstrations and competitions. So my proposal was on the basis of cost, and we have used both companies in the past and we have no issues with either of them.
Thank you, Lisa,
I'm happy to go with a recommendation for company A.
is that second?
Agreed, so agreed.
You seconded it then, John?
Yep.
Okay, all those in favour? Thank you for that, just to note that
Thank you.
to agree that at the appropriate time of all those events, we will do a press release anyway.
Yeah.
But especially on the skate park event, I know that Lisa and John have been involved in that for a lot of many years. Would it be appropriate to, we did vary the press release things, that I think it would be appropriate when we do that press release that I propose to the chair that Lisa and John do that press release.
Who do you want the quote from?
From both of them. You know,
A line each or something.
a line each in it, is that okay? To make,
Yeah,
if it isn't
you-
done, I'll do it.
Yeah.
If it's not in time, I will just do it, but I think it's important that other council members are seen involved in events.
Happy with that.
Is that?
Cool. Yeah,
I
great.
propose that is seconding that.
Well, I'll second
Who's
it.
again, all those in favour? Thank you.
Yeah.
Unanimous, right, okay, this is another biggie, calendar event, no change. As you can see, we have a splendidly busy year, Paula. We can say that now, but I think to be fair, Paula knew how busy it was anyway, didn't you? If you look at that, I think if you compare that calendar of events, I think bind efforts and all that from the office, it's quite splendid, isn't it?
Yeah.
We did agree that we would do a press release on our calendar of events some time back. Was it done? I don't remember. We did wrap it all up. Okay, I saw there was some good piece of social media went out on the calendar events this week as well. So, John.
Yeah, I should have said this earlier at the item that we discussed, the fringe theme is, now that we've agreed the theme, I think it would be great if we can promote that theme to, businesses and organisations around the town. So that the fringe event isn't just things that we organise, it's things that other people organise as well. If they grab that theme and run with it, then I think we should be involved in helping support them and promoting them and everything else. Because for me, that's the basis of a good fringe. It's not all us, it's us inspiring others to do things too.
I've just, the town clerk says we're going to do that.
Great.
Anyway,
Super.
and so we don't need to, we are getting quite good at doing these things now, so it's already in the ether of the office to do that.
We've got the business and community engagement officer.
Yeah, we're well covered with it. John, I think any ideas send in.
Well, window displays for some shops, others have done more elaborate things as well. Pubs might do something.
Later, so
They might have David Attenborough themed quiz in one of the pubs or whatever,
yeah, could I just ask to record our future thanks for all the time that people have given to the event. Having gone round these quite a few times, it is quite fun. Thank you. In which case we'll move on to item 16, which is the events review. First one is Local Democracy Week, which is Nina.
Hello, Nina.
It's very much within the report, really. It was a well-established event that last year, took place at the Buckingham School. We had around about 50 students attend from both Royal Lesson and the Buckingham School. A number of you were present, really well received. Obviously, we had some of our members from Thames Valley Police as well. What set it apart slightly different this year was that there was like a mingling session with the students and the pals, which I think went down, and certainly schools both commented on this, and students, but that was really well received, very well. And there were also some suggestions that came from the floor. We've already discussed tonight, which was the careers fair, so it's great to see that that got some traction. And it's just really learning points for this year's event, which hopefully will be hosted by the Royal Accents Club. It's just a note of the report.
Well, firstly, can we thank you for all the work that you put into it, and
Definitely.
I must say, I don't know what others thought, but those of us who attended it, I thought it was good, and it's always good, Ravina.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you as well, and I think the mingling at the end was excellent because there were so many questions from students and such interesting conversations to be had, which were really informative in regards to what the young people are experiencing and what they'd like to see from us. So that was a great addition this year. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those events that, and look, what's good about it is they're leading on the event and not being told by adults what they should talk about. That's really good. Thank you again for that. And which was, we haven't got anything to do with notice. So the members' parade, just to note the report really, only to say that what a splendid efforts it was by all the volunteers who took part in it, and all the staff who turned out for it, and those who were involved in the ceremony. I think it was different in the build-up to this event, but thanks to the office and everyone working together, it went extremely well. Personally, I found it seemingly, and bagpipes arrived, and we moved off, and it's a really good event where we get to do something together and show our respect. So, is any other members got any views on the actual day? Anything on it? Lisa?
Yeah, I think it went really well. And there was some hard work done behind the scenes by some members on the council. So thank you, Fran.
Yeah.
And from the office as well. So can you pass our thanks on to the office? Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a bit to do with the parade itself, possibly in an intermediary role.
Thank you, Sam.
The office and the newly emerging RBL people were the ones that did all the work.
Well, thanks to them as well.
We agree. I propose that we vividly thank the stewards without the stewards to volunteer, and for a note to go to the office. I know it's late now, it's after the event, but I think a note to go to the committee with the council staff who volunteer, man all the barriers. We appreciate it. But the volunteers will be known to the office, things progress.
So just to say, it hadn't happened at the time of writing this report, but I have had the same screen company confirmed for next year. The pay for the report is now booked in and is back paid, but deposits go it's secure.
Thank you. We'll note the report. Thank you. Christmas lights for John, which is under Deputy Down Clark. I jumped on there. Winter Fair, absolutely right. Winter Fair review.
It's just
Thanks to the staff for putting it all on.
Yeah.
Now we can do Christmas lights again. We've done it earlier, we'll do it again now. Christmas lights for time review. This is so far.
Sorry, my apologies. So it's the event itself went very well. It was the first time I had done it, so it was a steep learning curve for me, that one. The only thing I'm really looking for the members to agree on is 5.1, and that's a slight variation in events really. So the current format is they've had the kind of event opens at 4 o'clock, and my experience of this year was that the town was very flat at 4 o'clock. So I've moved it all a little bit later so people have the opportunity to get home from work, get their kids changed, do all of those sorts of things. And I don't know why we need 3 acts. I think we have one before, we have the bit in the middle, and then one after. Because what seemed to happen with the 2 acts after the light switch on is people just started to fade away. So I'm not making the event shorter, I'm just trying to make it kind of a little bit neater really. So it's just for people to consider that. I'm happy to go into more detail if people want to.
Lucy had a.
Mine had a first.
Did you?
Mine was
Just
higher.
Higher.
Everything about his home. Yeah, so it was a bit odd, really. Patrick and I doing the town cry and the speech over the microphone, and there was nobody in the marketplace.
So
it was that was at 4 o'clock, but that's what we did because that's what had been scheduled to be done. People did start turning up a bit later. There was some difficulties with the way that the acts were trying to get on and off the stage, to follow on from each other, trying to get all the children off and then get the silver band on, and the people that were chaperoning the children were trying to make sure they kept hold of all the children they were supposed to keep hold of, while the silver band people were not barging them out of the way, but they were focused on getting into their space, and so there was a little bit of difficulty there, really. So I think that this would make it smoother, it would make it look more professional, and I agree with it. Town Crier, 6 PM Town Crier and Mayor announcement Christmas card competition winners. Is that the light switch on? Yeah, okay, so
rather than doing the 4 o'clock open everything, you don't really need to do anything till 6. Everyone's open work, we've all had a cup of tea. And the stage provider, which I've already secured again for next year, they have got festive music and stuff that they play while they're setting up, so there will be music piped around the town. But again, it is awkward. I mean, Fran and Patrick were there in all their loveliness, and there was no one there to enjoy that. So
Lucy maybe would be there.
Purely from a selfish point of view, why do we have it on a Thursday? Because the last Thursday of the month is also Winslow's Christmas light switch on.
I think, to be honest, I wasn't part of that decision.
I'll go back to that in a minute, but okay.
Can I answer
that? All right, you go first then.
It's because the traders want it on Thursday.
Fair enough.
My only work day.
Rebina.
But I think when it was initially switched over to Thursday, it was really well attended. It was busier than it's been before. So the Thursday switch was actually a great idea.
Friday.
No, because you've got setting up the market as well.
On Friday, then.
On Friday.
I wanted to ask a question. When we initially set it to a Thursday and it was really successful, I swear we started a bit later.
Yeah.
Because obviously
we did.
you have to collect your kids from school, get home, give them something to eat, get them changed, and then come out. Because I think it did start around 5 or 6, between 5 or 6 was the start point.
We've gone back to.
Yeah,
So
because
the first performance is 5:15, with the mayor doing the announcements and the Christmas card winners at 6 and the light switch on at 6. So we've reverted back to that.
Yeah, so later makes a lot more sense because that was really busy.
Yeah, it was. It was nice and dark. And,
yeah, exactly. It was very nice and dark. Can I just ask one more thing? Because I couldn't make this last one. So usually we have the band area on that side. Is that how it was again this year?
Don't know how it works, I can't make it.
Okay.
I actually did look at moving it around, but
Yeah.
the sort of footing, so
Yeah, no.
it's the only safe
But that
place.
does work, you know, they're in their little space there all the
Yeah.
time, so.
The only thing that was slightly different last year is that I had all of the market down in the cattle pens. There was nothing up
Oh,
the top
okay.
end, and actually the feedback from the markets manager was it was the best market it had, and people, I have to say, he ended up being in the market till nearly 9 o'clock. It was just,
Yeah,
it kept buzzing down there, so even though it was long gone on the kind of event side of it, the market stayed really busy, and he was kind enough to stay through till the end.
Go on.
The thing about people leaving once the lights are switched on, which is sort of understandable because it is a light switch on event. I'm just wondering whether it's worth considering having it done in 2 stages. So maybe stage 1 is turn on the lights on the town, and stage 2 is turning on a star on top of the tree. So that's the kind of final crescendo that we work towards, rather than have everything go on at the same time. So we do it in 2 stages. Would that keep people around? Would that provide more of an audience for the second musical act that we've got scheduled after the first switch on? Just a thought.
Yeah, in fact, go to zone and I'll come back to.
Personally, I don't think that would be a particularly big draw for people to stay. I think they stay to have their photograph. A lot of people stay and have selfies taken around the tree. I think the biggest thing about making sure the act we have on after the Christmas tree switch on is one that people want to stay and watch.
Yeah.
I think that's what it needs to be, something uplifting that can start quite quickly without taking a load of setting up and clanking and goodness knows whatever. I think it's about striking while the audience is there.
Yeah.
And actually the issue we had last year is that we had 2 acts after the Christmas light switch. And the first act had quite a lot of watchers, and it was by the time the second act came on, people were getting a little bit cold. They'd kind of had enough of standing outside. So I think just having one each side, and if we can get a good draw, if I use the Bucks Gospel Choir as an example, people genuinely enjoy them. They're quite uplifting and they're quite upbeat. I'm not suggesting that's who we'll use, I'm just using it as an example. I think people would think, oh, I might stay for another 40 minutes to listen to them, but they aren't necessarily going to stay for an hour and a half to get to the other end of the event.
Just go to Rowena.
yeah, sorry, just another question, as I wasn't able to make this last year. Did we have, because the thing which was still a draw last year, although the year before, despite not having any reindeers for a number of years now, which I find quite upsetting, but we had all those, you know, people, the artists on stills.
We had, I can tell you them, what if I go up? So we use a company called MJ Productions, and this year we had a Santa van, stilt walkers, they were the really tall ones, obviously, and then we had people dressed as elves and pixies, and they all fully interact with all of the children.
Yeah, because they seem to be very popular and pictures with them and everything.
And actually, one of the other things about reducing the amount of acts is the space we have. So we only really have that exercise yard in the old jail, and trying to get a whole silver band, plus all the stilt walkers and all their equipment, and the Bucks Gospel Choir and Stagecoach all in that room just creates, it's a little bit chaotic. And there's no easy way to filter everyone on and off without people getting bustled and barged all over the place. So reducing that makes things a lot easier as well.
Yeah, thank you. John.
Do we need an inflatable reindeer costume as well?
Are you wearing it?
I'll give it a go. I'll be the back end or the front. I don't know.
I don't know where he's going. Well, we can always work on this. I will say, from my own point of view, this year I was able to stay here, and last year I had to rush off halfway through for personal reasons. But I would say that people seem really happy, and the people coming back past on their way down to the switch on, if they come past, they seem really happy. I would say do the jardins, being by jardins, it was very useful because I could actually hear Fran do all of the countdown from there. But you do miss it when you're doing that one. And so my own suggestion is to make sure that when we do the switch on, we move people who volunteer around the town to make sure that over the cycle that people don't always get in the same place quite happy to do the same place, but I think if anyone was there and didn't see it, you'd feel a bit out of it, really.
Yeah.
You know, a bit out of the atmosphere. Fran, and then Lucy, then we'll move on.
Lisa.
I think Tony had his hand up as
I
well.
was only going to say that I did stay for a little while longer, and while the gospel choir was on, and it did. I mean, people left in droves by then because they wanted their takeaways, get the kids home, go to the pub, whatever, all the good things, and what have you. But what I did find is that Father Christmas in his van seemed really disconnected with the main event. He was right over there, so there were still a few people around there. But if we could get somehow him maybe the other side of the jail, and maybe nearer the King's Head or something. I don't know, but I felt it just felt a long way away from the event. Just an opinion.
No, you're right, and it was something I considered. The issue I have is I need to leave the road open for the rest of the van to come in, and that he would end up blocking the road. So, and I didn't want to lose the accessibility stage, which is at the end of the stage.
Yeah.
The accessibility area actually at the end of the stage, but it's something we can look at, but we can't stop that access, and it's also a blue route, and that gets quite narrow, that road down by the old jail. So it's really tricky with regards to blocking it, because he does have the balls on his van.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fran, and then we'll move on.
What was I going to say now? What was it? Oh, yeah, so, sorry. One thing that I did notice, down in the market, where the food traders were, it created massive bottlenecks, which is brilliant that they got such huge queues, but some of the smaller, like craft stalls, people couldn't actually get to them because there were so many people queuing for the food trucks. So that does need some thought about it.
I was a bit of a victim of our own success there. I didn't quite expect it to get quite that busy.
Yeah.
But
Is it like having things on both sides in that area? Or it makes it a really nice atmosphere. But if you've got a crowd of people queuing, that makes it quite difficult. The other thing I was going to say was, we had the stilt walkers were brilliant, and the lady with the ball.
Yeah, I don't know what to call them. That's like an organising.
Yeah, all really good. We did have them the year before though, so I think we possibly need to look at mixing it up a bit for next year.
The production company has a whole range, so we can look at all different sorts of things. So, for example, it was the same production company that provided the parade committee with their transformer. It came from the same company, so they've got a whole catalogue. That
was because the parade committee spoke to them on the night and got their details.
Introduced them to each other.
Right.
And also in terms of Flashing with Winslow, I know that Lucy has volunteering duties with a store that raises huge amounts of money for charity, which will be at Winslow. We can't really just organise our Christmas parade around that.
I do know that, Fran. I did say at the beginning, purely for selfish reasons. Is there a reason why?
I'm just going to say that it's the traders in the first place that said a Thursday was best for them for having their late night shopping, opening late, and with all the other things going on, the other Thursdays end up either too early or too late in the whole scheme of things.
Thank you. Lisa wants to speak, and then I really desperately need
I'm good.
No,
it's fine.
no, I think I did get a nice dream catcher from the store, which I promised my granddaughter.
So I propose that we recommend that we go with 5.1.
Yeah, I'm happy to say
That's
that.
seconded, second one. Lisa, all those in favour? Thank you.
Thank you for the report as well.
Right, then we'll move on to another big event, the Christmas parade, which is under the deputy town clerk. It isn't the isn't it?
It is.
It isn't the right. Before we agree the recommendations and we've read the report, so any outstanding issues that you wish to bring towards us?
They provided their post-event report and their accounts, and they're attached to it.
Are you happy with the accounts? And are they thorough enough for you to? I didn't do the math with the. I'll put the agreement or whatever we got them, but were they under budget?
So they always, they have a balance that they're carrying forward from year to year. So they spent in 2025, £4,616.23, leaving them a closing balance of £2,415.53. We gave them, I think it was 3,700. So they, we have 3,719.
Okay, can we just do go and look back at the agreement with them because we're not a bank.
No, I have read the agreement with them.
Yeah, you have.
I have, and everything is compliant.
That's the answer. And John?
I'm just intrigued as to what MJ Productions do, because they're the biggest cost.
People who did the transformers, they're the same people that we use for the stilt walkers. So the parade committee had 2 transformers, if I remember rightly. I think there was a blue one.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that's who MJ Productions are.
Do you remember earlier that you said that they picked them up at the Christmas parade?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We don't run the event.
No, it's
It's how they spend the money is up to them, I'm afraid. I know what you're thinking, but we can't, if we step into that isn't where we are.
No, if it's their job, it's their job. But I've expressed that's a lot of money for a couple of people.
But it is within their budget.
It's within their budget, John. So
I know, but it's a lot of money for people.
I think we noticed that.
I thought they had stilt walkers as well.
They did have more. I
also just
so the parade committee book their own acts. I don't know who exactly they booked. It's all within their budget and their accounts add up.
In which case are we happy to agree that and those that what we've got to do. One thing I would say, we haven't had a wash up meeting.
No, I'm waiting for some dates to come.
I think it's important that I attend and also the mayor attends, maybe, and anyone else who on the committee wants to volunteer. I think it's important that we keep that going and support our officers in that meeting, that watch up meeting, to make sure that we broaden the understanding of these things.
So can I just remind of the recommendation that the committee thank our partners in the Christmas Parade Committee for their work?
Yeah.
And it's recommended that members receive and note the Parade Committee's partner event reports.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or propose
I
it.
propose to.
Seconded.
Do you need to do it for each?
Yeah, by Rabina.
We can do them both.
We do them both.
We can do them both together.
Both together. All those in favour? That's proposed by Fran and seconded by Rabina. In which case we'll move swiftly on to community fair. That's the one.
So as you know, this event follows on after the parade. It's just to note the report. Did you want me to go through it, or are you happy to note
the report? We happy to note the report?
Yeah, noted.
Which then we move on to the event we couldn't do, which is the Holocaust Memorial Day. Obviously, we all know the reasons we couldn't do it. I was down there at the weekend, and the monument is still underwater. So waiting to be traversed back out of it. We knew that when we put it there.
Yeah.
We knew, but it was finding a place which was safe to gather, private, and where it was. And we did know there was a risk, but this year was the only year it's so far since it's been there that it's been impossible to do. Fran?
I wonder whether relocating it to the village green by the church might be appropriate. Just a thought.
So the report's written by a business and community engagement officer. If you go and it is to just note the report and the reason why the event was cancelled. But if you go to the bottom of the report, there is a suggestion, which we can bring back as an agenda item if you so wish, about relocating, the possibility of relocating the stone. There are recurring issues with ground conditions. Flooding is always a sensitive area there. And we can look at considering location areas with better public access and high standing. So without wanting to amend the report, I'm wondering whether it would be right to bring back a recommendation of suggestions of where we might move that stone.
That's John, and then are we happy with the report, John?
I'm reluctant to move the stone from where it is at the moment, but I'm open to persuasion. I mean, my suggestion would be that we simply have a wet weather contingency plan, which is that we have the event around the War Memorial instead, because it's people there died fighting fascism. It seems appropriate to me, rather than, if we can't do it where we normally do it, we just relocate to there. But maybe relocating the stone, it wouldn't be cheap, obviously, but relocating the stone to the village green somewhere, I think it's about the only place that it could be suitable that we own. Because everywhere else is on the floodplain, so it wouldn't make an awful lot of difference in terms of access. At least there it would be accessible. How many times have we had to cancel it? This is about the only time we've had to cancel it. So it seems dramatic to relocate it on the basis of 1 year. That's all.
I'll go down, Clark, and Lisa wants to say something.
I think it's fair to say, and maybe I can take some advice from our committee clerk, because they've been involved in this event a long time. It is touch and go quite often, right till last minute, year upon year, with regards to the stone and whether it is going to be safe. And we literally sort of run by the seat of our pants a little bit about whether it should be relocated, whether it can go ahead or not. This year it was such an obvious choice. The decision was made for us, but it is often very sort of close to the line. And my phone was...
so this would have been our 5th year. We would have run our Holocaust Memorial Day event. Really well attended. We will know that sometimes up to 50, 60 people come from all across the community. Zoe's right. I can think of only one occasion, which was possibly the first one up, where it was fine and the weather was fine. But it's January, it's the end of January. We are seeing an increased amount of water, and the water comes up through the ground of our park. It's not from the river. So it sits a lot better than it does on any of our land, actually, in Town Council. We've had a number of people, because I went down there in the morning, that turned up, despite the fact that we'd obviously put out a message that it was going to be cancelled. We had about 5 individuals that turned up anyway, even though it was clearly flooded from a long way across the park. Kind of disappointed that it wasn't going to take place. So having a wet weather contingency would have to make a decision quite early on, and really robust with our communication where that was going to be, because people are still going to turn up.
Good ones, yeah.
I think
The other thing I just want to focus on, I haven't quite finished, is if we do look at relocating, we need to be incredibly sensitive about where that area might be, because there are obvious connotations with the nature of the event, and that's why I think I'm not making a suggestion as to where it should be. I think that needs to go away and be considered, and we need to look carefully about where would be right for that particular memorial. All I'm asking is that we consider that and bring it back for further consideration.
Yeah, agree.
Well, I remember when it took us a year or two to get to it, and it was Councillor Ruth Mill who wanted to have the Holocaust Memorial event, and it took us quite a long time to A, get a piece of stone, B, agree a venue, took us quite a long time to do, and then we were very, very fortunate that with the work, the officers to actually get the carving of the initial symbol in it. So it might be worth, when the report comes back, because some of this discussion we had about where to have this stone, we did that discussion then, and there must have been a reason why we chose that space. I'm not saying that should stop anyone discussing going it somewhere else, but I think we ought to see why we came to the conclusion of that space as a starting block if we officers bring back a report, so that when we're making that decision. If we make that decision, we may not. That we can look at this decision why we took it then, and we're taking it now because of that. Not at law, because it was very difficult to find somewhere within our lands to do it. Fran, Lucy.
I don't know if this is a good suggestion or not, but is there a possibility of us having a second stone place, so that one stays where it is, and then if there is a wet weather issue, then we have another one up at the village green at the church? Is that a possibility?
I'm not sure the church is the right, I think there are certain restrictions about whether we could do the church, so I think we need to make investigations as to where we can.
It is our land.
No, it's not about our land, it's not about our land, it's about what the event is.
Can I say that it's to note the recommend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another thought. We've had a thorough discussion about what we
Yeah.
might discuss, and we'll be guided by the
Yeah.
report. But all I ask is that
Thanks, Nina.
when that future report comes forward, is that we have the evidence of why we took the decision in the first place. So the evidence base our decisions.
Okay.
Thank you for that, and thank you for the proposal and seconder.
Just a note,
I thought it was
just a
Well,
note.
Yeah,
It's just a note, it's not a recommendation.
Members asked to note.
Asked to note.
Noted.
Yeah, I propose that we need a future report,
Yeah, I'll second
and
that.
that's seconded.
I thought it was in there anyway.
No, it isn't.
No,
I propose we have a second report and back reviewing it. Lisa seconded it. Is that all favour?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That'll allow us to have an in-depth discussion about it.
It is in there.
It's not in your.
Yeah.
It's not
so-
a recommendation.
Yeah.
So is have you got? Thank you. I propose that Lisa seconded it, and then we agreed it, and then we can do all that in the report, and then we'll give you a chance to do evidence-based decision. Right, in which case we move swiftly on to action lists. I like action. Lucy.
Just to say on the youth council one, I'm going to need to take my name off that because I just don't have time to commit to a youth council, and I don't want to let anyone down time wise. So
Absolutely understand.
thank you.
Thank you. That's.
I think Paul's got something to add.
Well,
Sorry, it should have been updated. So the swans, the two remaining swans that we have now been delivered to the Buckingham Society.
Thank you.
Right.
So they've got them.
They've got, yes, they've got into storage with a member.
Just remind me, we gave them, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that's right, okay.
So J&L snacks and all of those things that's been dealt with as well. The last one
Yeah.
before. The issue with regard to the arts and culture strategy, it's ongoing at the moment.
I'm a bit, from the chair, originally, there was a reason when we did the Buckingham plan.
Yeah.
That there was things going on, so we never ever got the report to this committee. We were supposed to review the arts strategy as it went to recommendation of Buckingham plan. Nobody did us out of anything, we got to read the report. So the reason that was on it was because post the plan being agreed, it was better to look at the art strategy going forward than the committee was involved in arts and stuff we do. And it could be that we do need to do that. So what I would like to think that it's ongoing. It can't be ongoing if we haven't discussed it. So where's the ongoing?
Well, we had to, if I recall correctly, we needed to wait for the neighbourhood plan to be signed up, which has just recently been done. So now we can start taking the action forward.
Yeah.
But until that point, until the neighbourhood plan had reached its fruition, which it now has after all the bits and pieces that went on, it was in abeyance. So now we can start making some progress.
Yeah, absolutely agree. But we originally didn't get it here because there was various reasons why it never came here, timing, Purda, and lots of other things got in the way. So we didn't get it here. So I'm conscious that that does come back here.
It has stated, it's on our action plan.
I know, but we didn't get to discuss it. What I'm saying though, it may be
This
in
is
the
not
office,
a report yet.
it's not in the office, but members didn't discuss it. And the reason is, there's lots of things around the future of it that I'd just like it to come back as soon as possible.
When we're in a position to bring it back and we have information, we can get it straight.
Thank you, that's what I need to know, really, because it's important that members discuss it. Right, so in case, climate emergency action plan. We have noted,
Yeah.
right, and which case we're on 18, which is 19, which is 19 press release. We've agreed those. Was there anything else within this that members felt we would need to do a press release? We agreed to do the skate park 2. We agreed to do the one for the otters and I mean for the dinosaurs. I just saw the otter today somewhere. Don't worry, I was patting an otter on his head today. Somewhere I went. One of our otters was actually there. And you look at it, it's quite funny because every child that walks by it clearly touches it on the head. And it's gone shiny because everyone like me just touches it on the head. I think we've agreed the press release, in which case, thank you, Chairman, now to just say thank you all for coming and thank you for the work that you've done throughout last year and the officers' events, and we look forward to another tremendous year, which also brings us to 2021, which is the date of our next meeting is Monday the 30th of March. The way this year's flying by, that will soon be here. But lastly, this is a committee, so if members sit here and they've got ideas they want to bring forward about things you want to do, you have every right to put that on the agenda. You're here as councillors. You know, you might say you quietly think nobody else is interested in it, but please bring it forward and put it on the agenda. This is, and we can discuss it. And then if it doesn't happen this year, we can try and figure it into a future year. So don't just think this is where it is. It's rolling round, and we have fantastic ideas from officers, but you may have some of your own. And I think that's important. And thank you very much. And we are done within a reasonable amount of time.